ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वाम् अनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी. Today we are going for the second class on Bhagavad Gita, chapter 17. The chapter 17 is called Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. We started with this one. The first few slokas, say verses 1 to 6, we dealt in our last class. That was held on 31:5. And then now we are in the second class. Now we'll proceed with the same topic, the Gunatraya Vibhaga, the three kinds of faith. And this deals with the three types of faith that the spiritual aspirants have. And it is already discussed earlier that faith is the conviction, the tremendous faith in certain principles, and that guides us in all our life's activities. So there are three types of faiths is what is being told in this chapter. Today we begin with verse number 7. Aharastopikau sarvasya trividho bhavati priyaha yajnastapastatha danam tesham bhedamimam shruno. Sri Krishna starts teaching this Arjuna, Aharastu api sarvasya trividha bhavati priyaha yajnaha tapaha tatha danam tesham bhedam imam shruno. These three types of faith I am going to tell you. Aharastu api sarvasya trividho bhavati. Sarvasya, of every aspirant. Ahara, the food that he takes, that he likes, that becomes three types. Trividho bhavati. Three types of likable foods for this spiritual aspirant are there, depending upon the type of faith he has got, whether it is sattvic, rajasic, or tamasic. Then he will like the particular types of food. It also applies to the sacrifices he does. Yajna, tapaha, tata, danam. The sacrifices he does in the course of his sadhana or spiritual practice, and tapaha, austerities he performs, tata, danam, the gifts he gives. It's all part and parcel of his spiritual pursuit. So even in them also, he has got each aspirant, according to his faith, differs in the food he likes. So tesham bhedam imam shruno. Tesham idam bhedam shruno. Now I am going to tell you, you hear these three distinct types of food liked by three types of spiritual aspirants. And why does he tell us the three types of faith and the food, etc.? Why do you want to know about these three types of food, etc.? If we have sattvika faith, which is the real faith we should require for any furtherance in our spiritual progress. If one is told that is enough, why go and tell three types of faith and the food that is likable by them? This is the author himself. He tells in the commentary, so he says that etacha rajasa tamasa ahara yajnadi parityagena sattvika ahara yajnadi sevaya sattva shuddho yatna kartavya ityetadastan katyate. That is, listen about these distinctions among them. That is going to be stated. This is being declared in order that people may give up Rajasika and Tamasika food, sacrifice, and strive to increase their sattva by resorting to sattva food, sattva sacrifice, and sattva gifts, and sattva austerity, etc. So the first verse, this verse, whole meaning of the verse is that the aspirant, each aspirant has his own liking for food, depending upon his own faith. His faith itself himself. So you know, Yoyat Shraddhasayevasa, already it has been told. A man is what his faith is. So if he is of a Sattvika faith, then he is himself called a Sattvika man. A Sattvika aspirant likes certain foods. What are those foods? The next sloka takes it up. Tatra ahara trividyamaha trivihi. The next three verses tell us about these three types of food liked by the three types of aspirants. Ayusattva malarogya sukhapriti vivardhanaha rasyaha snigdhaha sthiraha hridyaha ahara sattvika priyaha. Ayu, that means the longevity, the lifespan, that food, ahara, those foods that increase this lifespan. That means one feels that one is will live long if we take such and such a food. That means his old age, he does not feel at all because he is taking a sattvika food. So sattvika priyaha ahara, this food that is liked by the sattvikas, these ahara, what are they? What are the quality of those foods that he likes? Ayuhu, that food that gives him the longevity, that makes him feel younger. And sattva, sattva is enthusiasm, vivacity. Then bala, vigor, strength. Arogya, that makes him free from diseases. Sukha, sukha means serenity of the mind. Joy, the happiness in the mind. Mind is always full of happiness for him because that the man of sattvic faith, he always feels serene, calm, with a placid mind. And preeti, preeti means abhiruchi, interest. He takes interest in everything. He is eager to know. So this preeti, abhiruchi, this attachment or special interest in things, vivardhanaha, these certain foods increase this. Then it makes them grow. He grows in enthusiasm. When he takes such food, he feels more active, more young, more vigorous, more vivacious, and he is taking interest in everything. His mind also is calm and quiet. At the same time, what is these foods must have some more qualities. That is, rasya, they are juicy, and snigdha, they are oily or fatty. It cannot be dry without oil or anything. Sthira, they must produce permanent change in our digestive system. It should stay in the system for quite some time to be digested. Therefore, so sthira, those that create a sort of a steadiness inside our system. So this food has that quality. This sattvika priya, the food that is liked by them is having this quality of making them feel that the food they have taken is creating comfortable feelings inside themselves. Hridyaha, such foods are always good to look also, attractive. Any good food, you don't have to go and taste it. By looking at it, you are attracted to it. So because it is in such a way, it is made, so it is attractive even by the very sight. Hridyaha, hridayangama, it is attractive. So such food, such aharaha, such food, sattvika priyaha, they are liked by their aspirants who are of the sattvika nature. Sattvika nature aspirants, they love such foods which are increasing, which have the nature of increasing your life's and in lifespan, increasing your vivacity, vigor, which can make you free from diseases, arogya, give you good health, and keep your mind placid and calm, and increase your interest in everything. And they are not that they should be oily, they should be full of juice, and then they are good, attractive, agreeable when you look at them. So these are the foods that are liked by the aspirants who are sattvic in nature. So this is about the sattvic nature person, nature aspirant. Now, what is the food that is liked by the people of Rajasic nature? That is being told in the next verse. Katvamla lavana tushna tikshna ruksha vidayinaha ahara rajasasyeta dukkha shoka amayapradaha. So, katu, amla, lavana, atyushna, tikshna, ruksha, vidahinaha, ahara, rajasasya ishtaha. The rajasic aspirant likes the foods which are of this kind. Katu, katu means bitter. So bitter things he likes. Not only he likes bitter, he likes it in ati. He may too much of bitterness they like. Usually very light bitterness is a very tasty thing. It increases your appetite. People don't know, but those people who have tasted the real bitter preparations from good cooks, they like bitter things, like they add a little of neem leaves in a vegetable, and then the vegetable with a slight bitterness is very attractive. People love it. So it is one of the Shad Rasas in our books. It is described. There are Shad Rasas, 6 types of taste. It is not only I take sweets always. There must be sweetness, there must be saltiness, there must be chilliness, there must be oily content, and then there will be pungency also. There must be that is hot, like chili. So all these things are called Shad Rasa, 6 types of taste. So this Rajasic person, he likes not like any other person, the slight bitterness. He wants strong bitterness. Just like straight away eating a neem leaf, straight away eating certain vegetables which are very bitter. So katu, ati sukshma. Ati means too much. He likes too much of bitterness. He likes too much of sour. Amla means sourness, like lemon. So he likes too much of sour. So if you put a little sour, you give me a little more lemon, I will add to it. So he likes to have too much of the sourness, and lavana, the salt, too much of saltiness, and atyushna, too hot, tikshna, pungent, and the ruksha vidayina, dried thing, which is very crisp, we say. So too much of crispness, too much of hardness in the crispness, he likes. Vidayina, which creates burning sensation, like chili, like pepper, too much of pepper, and like mustard. If you take too much of mustard seed, there is a burning sensation in the stomach. But that Rajasa aspirant, the aspirant having the Rajasa nature, so he likes these things. Aharaha Rajasasya Ishtaha. The Rajasic aspirant likes these foods. And what will happen if you go on eating in everything in too much of salt, too much of lemon, too much of sourness, too much of bitterness, etc. Dukkha shoka amaya pradaha. By the result, the end result of this food, this Rajasika food is, they create dukkha, they create pain or grief now itself. It may create sort of burning in the stomach. So it is not a very pleasurable thing to have burning in your stomach. So it gives you a discomfort right now, dukkha. And later, shoka. You start grieving, you start repenting. Why did I take so much of food with so much of bitterness or so much of hot chilies, etc.? You feel bad. So this feeling of badness after the food is taken, that's called shoka. Shoka is grief. So to start with, you have got pain now, then it ends up in mental problem also. You go on grieving, why did I get it? Now I am feeling very, very uneasy in my mind also. The mind also is affected. Amaya pradaha. Amaya is disease. It ends up in some sort of a disease. Maybe of a mild nature or a serious nature. One may develop if you go on taking too much of chili, too much of a hot thing. One may end up in perhaps gastric troubles. Like this, so amaya pradaha, such habits of eating too much of salt, etc., may create diseases. Amaya pradaha, they give disease. That means they end up by continually taking these qualities of too much of bitterness, too much of chilliness, too much of saltiness, may end up in some permanent disease and create lot of trouble in your life. So this is the food, but that is liked by the Rajasic aspirants. Rajasic aspirants like these things. So we will come to why these are all being told to us in detail. In the beginning itself it was told that we should know about the Rajasic and the Tamasic food also, so that we can avoid them. There are two things we should know, that what produces good for us, we must know also. We must also know what creates problems for us, to keep them away. We must know these bad things so that we can keep them away. We need not be ignorant about things in the world. So here it is said, dukkha shokamaya pradaha, that which gives you presently some pain, discomfort, then end up in a disease. So these things are liked by the Rajasic aspirant, but they end up in some disease, creating problems, and in the beginning itself you are having discomfort, etc. So this is the food that is liked by the Rajasic aspirant, and we should avoid such foods. That is why this whole description has been given. Now we come to the Tamasic aspirant. Tamasic aspirant, yatayamam gatarasam puti paryushitanchayat uchishtam chamedyam bhojanam tamasapriyam. The Tamasika people like what? The bhojanam tamasapriyam. The food that is liked by the Tamasic people, what are they? Yatayamam, food that has been prepared 3 hours early. Yatayama means 3 hours time duration. The day, according to the Indian calendars, is divided into 8 yamas. That means 1 yama means 3 hours duration. So a food that has been prepared 3 hours earlier and it has been kept there, neither in a hot pad or a hot box or in a cold place. If it is a cold thing, instead of keeping it to be in a sort of a good atmosphere, so that it remains fresh, either as a cold food or a hot food. Simply ordinary conditions, it is kept there for 3 hours. With the result, it becomes a stale food. Yatayamam, the food that has been prepared 3 hours earlier and left for itself. So that food, it has become stale. But the Tamasic people like stale food. They do not like hot food, fresh, or really things that are to be preserved in a ice cold atmosphere. That also they don't like. They like the stale food which has been prepared 3 hours earlier. Yes, we see certain person. If you give them comfortable temperature, they make it cold and then afterwards they eat. So they like it. Similarly, Gata Rasam, so it's something that whose juice has gone away due to long duration. Some fruits, etc. We take, say for example, sugar cane. Some people sugar cane, they chew, that gives strength to the teeth, especially in the village side, even when you are young. So sugar cane used to be given to us. So we used to buy it, chew, and take the juice from it. So if it is kept a little longer, it is not very fresh, then it becomes a little more sweet because the water content has become less, so the concentration of sugar has gone up. Therefore, there will be more taste in that is little drier. So they like that gatarasam, where fluids have gone away. So they say, no, you give us the old sugar cane, not the fresh one. Similarly, puti. Puti means bad smelling, putrid, which has started petrifying, which has become old, therefore it has started giving bad smell. So such food also are liked, especially we have seen people who some foods are prepared to and make them petrified. More they are petrified, greater is the taste and what you call a kick. So they say we get real joy when it is kept for 2 days or 3 days. So puti, putrid food. And pariushitam, which has been prepared one night before. So last night something has been prepared, this morning it is served. This is pariushitam. This is stale, completely stale, such food. And if somebody else has eaten, it is a very good thing, but it is somebody has already taken a part of it. But they like it. No, doesn't matter. Let them take. So you give the rest of it. So they like uchishtam. Uchishtam means the left out of the food by from others. They like that. They take it. And amedyam. Amedyam bhojana. Amedyam is impure. Certain foods are considered impure by some people, some religionists, and even by effects also. Certain things create such a bad type of mind after taking it. So they are called amedya, impure food. So some people, you see, strong smells of certain foods, they make you disagree with them, disagree to take them. So such bhojanam, such food is tamasa priyam. Tamasic people like that. So now we have known 3 types of food are there, the nature of those foods, and people who like them. So this liking such foods which are having these qualities can give us an idea that what aspirant belongs to what group. So a sattvic aspirant, he goes on taking all sattvic food, and rajasic food, tamasic aspirant, tamasic food. So this tamasic food and rajasic food, when we know what they are, when we know what their effects are, which are not good, therefore we should go for taking only the sattvic food and avoiding the rajasic food as much as possible. Many times it happens that only rajasic food is available. The next alternative is tamasic food. So instead of, suppose you are presented with the alternative, so either rajasic or tamasic, better go for rajasic. Rajasic is the higher state. You feel more vigor, more active than tamasic food, where if you go on taking stale food and putrefied food, so then you will go to sleep. You will not do anything. You cannot do anything. So if there is no alternative except between the rajasic and tamasic, for the temporary time, until you can arrange for your good food, the food that you like according to your nature, that means sattvic food, until you can procure them, go for rajasic food. Go for a smaller quantity so that its effect may not much disturb you, and as soon as you can get your sattvic food, avoid this rajasic food. So these other 2 foods are mentioned, rajasic and tamasic, so that avoiding them we can take to the sattvic food. So this is going to be applied to other things also that Rajasa Tamasika groups will take, not only food. So yajnas tapas tatha dhanam, the sacrifices that the aspirant has to do, they will also have this nature of sattva, rajas, tamas. Similarly, the austerity. The austerities also have different types of austerities, liked by or agreeable to the three types of aspirants. And then the austerity and tatha dhanam, giving gifts. In giving gifts also, whom to give, how much to give, what types of things to give. These are liked by certain people, only certain varieties. So that also has to be sattvic. So in all the things, this sattvic nature will continue, the rajasic natures will continue, and tamasic natures will continue. This tamasic and rajasic sacrifice and austerity and giving gifts must be avoided, and we must take the sattvic type. That is the idea. So now we will be told the yajna, the sacrifice. So during the course of spiritual aspirant, spiritual journey, he has to undergo many spiritual exercises, exercises of the mind, exercises of the will, pranayama, yogasana, etc., etc. All these things, they are also, in the same way, we have to perform certain sacrifices. Sacrifice is yajna, yaj deva pujayam, with the worship of gods, worship of the great people, worship of Guru. So such worship is also called sacrifice. So many types of yajnas have been described in chapter 4, which we have already read. So this yajnas, these sacrifices, also have got three types. So it is being told the sattvika aspirant will like, it is agreeable with him to take up his type of yajna, sacrifice. Aphalakankshipiriyajno vididrishto ya yichyate yashtavyameveti manavah samadhaya sa sattvika. Aphalakankshipih yajnah yaha yichyate vididrishta yashtavyameveti manas samadhaya. So that means the yajna, sacrifice, the several types of sacrifices, means it is worship. Worship of gods, worship of Guru, worship of elders, worship of parents, and worship of highly scholarly and spiritual people. Several types of worships are there. And also sacrifices for smaller gods also. Some people worship Ganesha, some people worship Kartikeya, some people worship Vishnu, some Mother, Divine Mother, some Shiva. Several types of puja is also sacrifice. So these sacrifices that are done in several ways. So whoever does it with a certain state of mind, certain attitude, so that becomes sattvic. Aphalakankshibhi yajnaha vididrishto yajyate. Aphalakankshibhi yajnaha yajyate. The yajna, the sacrifice or the worship that is performed, it is called sattvika. Sattvika yajna, when it is performed with aphalakangsha, not desiring for any fruits from the yajna, except pleasing that God, through him you get what you require as a help for your spiritual progress. Except this straight, one single purpose, the yajna should not be done for any other purpose. We want spiritual illumination, spiritual enlightenment. We want to realize God. That is the highest goal of life. So all our yajna, tapaha, dhanam, etc. must conduce to that goal. So only that goal is to be attained. How is that goal to be attained? All the people will help you to move forward in that line. So when we do a yajna, we do a yajna with the attitude, I don't want anything from this God. Oh God, you give me devotion. You give me the spirit of renunciation, spirit of sacrifice, spirit of selflessness, spirit of purity, spirit of truthfulness. So if you pray, this is the only thing. So no other phala, no other fruit is expected. If such people with such attitude they perform, that becomes a Sattvika Yajna. And also when such sacrifices are performed, vidhi-drishtaha, it is according to the injunctions of the Shastras, concerned Shastras. Suppose we do Satyanarayana Vrata, we must follow the disciplines that are to be done before starting that Satyanarayana Vrata, or Ganesha Puja, or Shiva Puja. When you have to do it, you have to follow the already trodden path by the great people who have realized Shiva through such yajnas. So vidhi-drishtaha, that means vihitaha, it has been the vidhi, that means Shastra vidhi, the scriptural injunctions, the scriptural guidance, rules and regulations, they are to be strictly followed. Then it is called Sattvika Yajna. It becomes a good yajna, good sacrifice. Similarly, Yashtavyameva iti. Yashtavyameva, that means only I should perform the yajna, only. I should not aspire for any fruits of that yajna, for any other purpose than the purpose of enlightenment spiritually. So, Yashtavyameva, only for this yajna is being done only for that one purpose, for no other fruit. So this attitude, when it comes, when we say that we want only spiritual enlightenment, then mind does not waver. So suppose I say, after performing this yajna, I must get a promotion, I must get this good name, I must succeed in such and such a lawsuit. These are all things unconnected with that sacrifice. But some people have it. So we will achieve that one also, and the spiritual benefit also we get. So the mind gets scattered. Now and then we go on thinking about whether this will conduce to that, whether it will give me the fame or name I want. So this type of the mind getting disturbed, that does not give you the concentrated mind. Therefore, manas samadhaya yashtavyameveti yat ichyate. That yajna that is performed with the mind thinking, this yajna is only for my spiritual benefit, nothing else. No other fruit is expected. So, only yajnameva anushtiyam. I must only perform the yajna for its own sake, not for any other fruit. So, when the attitude, when this conviction comes inside you, manaha samadhaya, the mind becomes concentrated. Such a concentrated mind will be able to perform the yajna very, very well. So this is called Sattvika Yajna. The yajna, the sacrifice or the worship of God, Guru, etc. So this is done by Sattvika people. And when one Sattvika people do it, then the next aspirant who are yet to start the sacrifice, they select this one. Real Sattvika aspirant, they will select that Sattvika sacrifices that have been already done by others. So such yajna itself becomes Sattvika Yajna. Because all Sattvika people perform that. Because they have performed it in the next generation of aspirants also, they follow the same. Therefore it is called Sattvika Yajna. Because Sattvik people are doing it in the prescribed way. They perform it without expecting any other result, any other fruits. And then vidhi-drishtaha, so they follow the rules of the yajna prescribed by the Shastras. Yashtavyameva, and they say this should be only for performance of this yajna is only for the final end, for my attainment of spiritual enlightenment or any other goal that I have set for this yajna, that only one we aspire. No other selfish fruit should be expected from after this. With this attitude, making the mind concentrated, manas samadhaya, what this yajna ichyate, that yajna that is done is called Sattvika. called Sattvic Yajna. Next we come to the Rajasam Yajnamaha. Rajasic sacrifice is being described. Abhisandayutu phalam dambhartam apichaiva yat ijyate bharata shrestha tam yajnam vidhi rajasam. Abhisandayutu phalam dambhartam apichaiva yat yajnam ijyate he bharata shrestha tam rajasam yajnam vidhi. The yajna that is performed, now Rajasic yajna is being described. The yajna is that which is being performed. If it is done with great attachment to the fruits thereof, so I want to achieve this, it is for own selfish purpose. I will do this yajna for getting a Putreti yajna is there, where Dasharatha performed Putreti yajna and got the 4 children, Rama, Lakshmana, etc. So Bharata, Shatrughna. So this Dasharatha performed yajna is Abhisandayutu phalam. So he expected the result. So expecting a personal or selfish aim, selfish fruit, that yajna that is being performed. Abhisandayutu phalam. Abhisandaya means uddeshya, the desiring a particular gain to be achieved, and that is a selfish aim. So that yajna becomes a Rajasic yajna. And that yajna has other qualities also. Dambhartham of Chev. When such yajnas are performed, people want to show themselves off also. Ostentation comes in there. Whenever yajnas are done, so there is always a competition. Is this yajna greater or lesser than the earlier one that we saw? Then to please common people, so more grandeur is added. When extra things are done, all this becomes ostentation. So dambhartham apichaiva, for ostentation also, for spreading one's own selfish name or power or position, also the yajna is performed. That yajna is called Rajasic yajna. That yajna, that sacrifices that are done for tom-tomming one's own greatness or showing off to others that one's own wealth, one's own fame, one's own power, and also aspiring for some selfish fruits, like I want a child, I want a such and such a Indra's place, I want to go to Indraloka and become a Devata there. All such selfish ends, if they are attached to the yajna, that yajna becomes Rajasic yajna. So this Rajasic yajna is to be avoided by the spiritual aspirant. They don't require name or fame or any other worldly fruits like a child and all that. So this, what to avoid is being told here. That which is done with personal fruits in mind, and then also which is done for propagating one's own name and fame, that is Rajasic yajna. And Rajasic people like that. So and so has done such, I will also do it, something greater than that. This is how the Rajasic aspirant will like this yajna that is done by the others in a Rajasic way. Now we come to the Tamasic yajna. Vidihinam asrishtannam, mantrahinam adakshinam, Shraddha virahitam yajnam tamasam parichakshate. Vidihinam, that means one does not care for the rules of the yajna that has been given by the Shastras, by the wise people, by people who have done the yajna and attained to the fruits of that successfully. So such rules, etc., are not followed at all. For what? Because he is a tamasic person, he does not know. He does not know how to perform it. Nor does he want to take the trouble to know how to perform it. So such people, vidihinam, without caring for the injunctions of the Shastras, that means without the rules of the Shastras, Asrishtanam, they are not feeding persons properly at the proper time according to the rules. Asrishtanam, not feeding persons with proper food. And mantrahinam, they do not use the correct mantras. That means engage people who know the mantras very well. They utter the mantra properly with a proper purified mind, purified body. They must be clean inside, clean outside. Such people should utter the mantra. Then only there will be effect. Mantrahinam. Without such thing, that is, with that proper mantra chanting, etc. So those, and also adakshinam, without giving proper gifts. Dakshina. Dakshina is gift. Dakshina we mean only money now. So you give dakshina means only money is given. Money is not only the dakshina. Any gift that is given when a particular yajna is done, when a particular worship is done. So that is called dakshina, gifts. So if proper gifts are to be given to after proper rituals, certain rituals, it is part and parcel. So, but they don't give. So he said, now you have to give this dakshina, you have to give this gift. It is not necessary. You give this another one, small thing. That which is not mentioned, you want to give that and close it. So this type of neglect of the Shastra, of the injunctions of the scriptures, when Shraddha Virahitam, bereft of the proper faith. First of all, it is the faith that this yajna is going to be useful for me in achieving the end that I want. So this faith, that faith itself is tottery. In the tamasic aspirant, he doesn't feel 100% sure that what he is doing is going to give him the proper result, proper fruits. So Shraddha Virahitam, he lacks that 100% conviction that his action, he is doing it properly and he should get the result. Whereas the Sattvika people, they are 100% sure, and they know also that 100% perfection in karma, in performing sacrifices, is not possible. So they have their alternate means for that. So Shastras themselves give you their certain injunctions where there are some defects unavoidable in a work or in a ritual. Then you say, you take the name of God, Om Tat Sat Iti. So Om Tat and Sat. If these three words are uttered, then even a bad ritual becomes a good ritual, because it is being done so without knowing. So some error has come down. So for that error, the whole yajna cannot be stopped. Therefore, they have got this injunction from the Shastra. Om Tat Sat Iti Nirdesho. There is the Nirdesha. So there is a statement by God Himself saying, when there is anything that is missing in a yajna, when you say Om Tat Sat, when you say that, then it will be absolved. You will be absolved of that committing that mistake. So those people, Sattvic people, are very much aware. They have got faith that even if there is some Vaigunya, there is some defect in my performance, I have already set it right by uttering Om Tat Sat through a purified mind. So this is the third. The Tamasic Yajna has been explained now. The next will be, after this one we come, the next group, Yajnas Tapas, Yajnaha Tapaha Dhanam. So next will be the tapas. So we come to know the tapas, how it should be performed, how it is performed by the three types of aspirants. And this tapas is explained to you in detail. Tapas can be done at the physical level, at the vocal level, and at the mental level. All the three are together called tapas. Tapas may be the mental level tapas, mental tapas, and verbal tapas, controlling of the words, your speech, This is called verbal, the verbal tapasya, verbal austerity. And then the physical level also, keeping the body clean, pure, all these things are physical tapas. So all the three tapas included together, they are called austerity. And with this austerity, there is the attitude of Rajas, Tamas, and Sattva. This subject is going to be taken up in the next few slokas. So today we end here. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadguru.